Dogs can forgive many things, but there are moments they never forget. Not because they hold grudges, but because at that moment, their trust suffered a deep break. In this video, we'll show you 17 things that a dog will never forgive, even if, on the outside, they seem to stay by your side. 1. Severe physical punishment. Dogs forgive a lot. They forget minor annoyances, endure misunderstandings, wait by the door even when their human leaves without saying goodbye. But severe physical punishment is one of the few things a dog might never forgive. In their perception, it's not correction nor education. It's a direct threat from the one who should protect them. Even if the blow was light, or just a push or a tug, the dog's body records it instantly. They don't differentiate whether it was deserved or not. They only feel a sudden, aggressive, unexpected action. This experience becomes ingrained in their behavior. Hesitation appears, body tension near the human, changes in reaction to touch and commands, or the dog becomes excessively obedient, almost afraid to anticipate orders. In both cases, what remains isn't trust, but fear. 2. Abandonment in an unfamiliar place. For a dog, you're not just a human, you are the center of their world. When that center suddenly disappears in an unfamiliar environment, their entire sense of security collapses in seconds. Strange smells, new sounds, no guidance. Even if it's just for a few hours, to the dog it feels like a tremendous loss. They don't know if you'll come back, especially if it's their first time. A visit to the groomer, a stay at a boarding facility, or even a trip to the vet without the owner can feel like betrayal. Some dogs seem calm on the outside, but inside a crack forms. They develop separation anxiety, become insecure, lose their initiative. To them, no place feels safe unless it's where their human is. 3. Constant yelling without a clear reason. The voice is one of the main channels of communication between humans and dogs. Through tone alone, they sense mood, intention, even emotional posture. When the voice becomes loud, harsh, and constant without a clear reason, the dog doesn't perceive it as irritation, but as inexplicable punishment. Dogs pick up not just volume, but the full emotional charge. If a human yells uncontrollably, without explaining, just out of impulse, the dog feels their emotional safety collapse. They don't understand what they did wrong. And if they approached seeking affection at that moment, all they receive in return is a hurricane of frightening sounds. Before we continue, if you love dogs, hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of dog lovers. 4. Rejection when seeking comfort. Dogs don't ask for help with words but with gestures, a soft gaze, a paw reaching out, a timid approach. These are pleas for comfort during insecurity. When a human ignores them, pushes them away, or tells them to go to their place, the dog doesn't just record the action, they record the silence that answered their plea. For dogs, comfort isn't about spoiling. It's simply about presence. During thunderstorms, fireworks, illness, loneliness, all they want is to know you're there. If instead they get coldness or irritation, they learn, it's not worth asking, and next time they might not even try. 5. Ignoring signs of pain. Dogs can't say, "I'm in pain." They show it. Walking differently, becoming quieter, seeking less contact. They don't expect immediate healing, but they do hope the human will notice. When pain is ignored, the dog loses not just physical comfort, but trust that they'll be understood. They withdraw, play less, avoid affection, not because they stopped loving, but because they learned their pain doesn't matter. Worst of all is when the owner dismisses it, saying it'll pass or it's just old age. To the dog it means, your pain is not important, and they stop showing it altogether. 6. Public humiliation. Dogs don't understand words, but they perfectly read tone, body language, and emotional atmosphere, especially in front of other people or animals. When a human harshly corrects a dog in public, jerking the leash or barking orders, the dog feels a rupture in the emotional bond. They may shrink back, avert their eyes, lower their ears, or nervously wag their tail. It's not guilt, it's fear of losing connection. Even if the scolding is brief, the dog records the discomfort, the shame, the insecurity. 7. Harsh tone when giving commands. A command is more than a word, it's an invitation to cooperate. When commands are always given in a harsh tone, without kindness or reward, the relationship loses its joy. Over time the dog's gaze dulls, their movements become hesitant, and they seem to forget commands. Not because they're stupid, but because they fear making mistakes. A constant rude tone teaches the dog to expect criticism. Even praise sounds hollow because the emotional foundation is poisoned. 8. Isolation during moments of fear. Fear is one of the most intense emotions for a dog. It doesn't follow logic, it can't be ordered away, it doesn't vanish on its own. In those moments the dog desperately looks for signs of support. A glance, a gesture, any sign of security. If they are isolated, locked away, or ignored while afraid, the anxiety multiplies. Fear turns into loneliness. Even small scares can turn into massive traumas. A dog that was isolated during fear rarely forgets it. They learn, when I panic, I'm alone. 9. Being mocked during fear. Fear isn't drama or weakness, it's a state of extreme vulnerability. A scared dog might tremble, hide, freeze, or react to every noise. If at that moment the human laughs, mocks, or minimizes their fear, the dog feels a deep emotional wound. They don't understand the words, but they feel the energy irony instead of support. After experiencing this, many dogs start hiding their fears, distancing themselves, avoiding contact. They learn, fear is shameful. 10. Taking away toys without explanation. For a dog, a toy isn't just an object, it's part of their world, a source of joy, security, and expression. If a beloved toy is taken away without explanation, the dog feels it as a loss, not a correction. Without understanding the reason, they conclude they can't trust what's given to them. Even worse if the toy is taken away harshly or with anger. Dogs who experience this often start hiding their toys or guarding them obsessively, not from possessiveness, but from fear of losing something again. Forcing them to endure pain. Dogs give clear signs of discomfort or pain, freezing, pulling away, licking their lips, flattening their ears. Ignoring these signs and forcing them to endure physical discomfort, like yanking matted fur, cutting nails roughly, holding them too tightly, leaves deep marks. The dog doesn't remember the grooming or the procedure itself, they remember the pain that was ignored. Later they start avoiding human hands, brushes, towels, not out of rebellion but because touch now means pain and pressure. Dogs live in the present, they don't link past and present the way we do. That's why a scolding delivered long after a behavior happens doesn't educate them, it only frightens them. For the dog, there's no logical lesson, only the realization that their human can be unpredictable. This damages trust. Sensitive dogs can change completely after just one unjust punishment, becoming more hesitant, losing spontaneity, and obeying out of fear rather than understanding. Dogs grow old in silence. They don't complain. They simply change. They walk slower, play less, need more rest. When a human ignores these changes and demands the same performance as before, the dog feels invisible. Forcing them into long walks or punishing them for moving slowly creates an emotional distance that's hard to repair. The dog realizes, I am no longer seen for who I am now. This generates deep sadness and isolation. For dogs, strangers represent uncertainty. Even when everything seems calm, the presence of an unknown person triggers tension. The dog looks for support from their human. If the human doesn't notice their insecurity, or worse, forces them to interact, the tension turns into trauma. Repeated experiences like this teach the dog that they cannot rely on their human as a safe haven. They become more fearful, start avoiding encounters, or react aggressively to protect themselves. 15. Being left alone in extreme conditions inside a car. A parked car is a trap for a dog. Unlike humans, they regulate their body temperature poorly. Inside a car, heat rises or drops dangerously fast. Even a few minutes can cause severe discomfort, panic, overheating, or freezing. Dogs don't measure time, they feel abandonment, confinement, and danger. Even if nothing bad happens, the negative memory gets burned into their mind. 16. Forcing bath time despite fear. For many dogs, bath time is terrifying. Slippery floors, loud water sounds, firm hands restraining them. If despite clear signs of fear they are forced to continue, they record the experience as a violation of their safety. They learn, my fear is not respected. Later, just seeing a towel or hearing running water can trigger panic. 17. Not defending them from another person's aggression. When a stranger hurts, squeezes, or scares a dog, their instinct is to look to their human for protection. If, at that moment, the human doesn't react, or worse, excuses the aggressor, the dog feels a definitive break in trust. They learn, I am not safe even with the one I trust most. This kind of betrayal is hard to heal and can permanently change how the dog views the world. Now you know, dogs have a huge capacity for forgiveness, but when trust is broken in deep ways, some things stay imprinted forever in their hearts. True love and respect mean not only caring for them, but being worthy of the unconditional love they offer us. If you love dogs as much as we do, hit the like button, subscribe, and click on the next video appearing on your screen now to discover even more about the deep emotional world of our furry friends.